s'mores chocolate chip cookies with brown butter, and the brown butter truly elevates this recipe beautifully, so here's how to make it. In a light colored saucepan, melt down your butter over low to medium heat to avoid burning. As your butter melts, stir every 30 seconds or so to help it cook evenly and to prevent it from sticking to your pan. Now your butter is going to begin foaming, and you're going to notice a change in color pretty quickly, so make sure you keep your eye on it because we don't want it to burn. Once the butter develops brown specks at the bottom of your pan and you begin to smell a nutty aroma, that's how you know it's done. Transfer your brown butter to a large heat-proof mixing bowl, and then we're also going to add in our sugar and brown sugar and combine everything together. Now whisk in your vanilla extract as well as 1 egg at a time, and your batter should be very smooth at this point. Add in all of your dry ingredients into your wet ingredients, and we're going to fold together our cookie dough until there are only a few streaks of flour left. This is where we're going to add in our chocolate chips. On a baking sheet, we're going to add our graham crackers, Hershey's chocolate, and marshmallows, and then we're going to add 80 grams of cookie dough on top of each one, and we're going to create a dome almost out of cookie dough, so cover the marshmallow completely, almost touching the pan a bit. Bake at 350 for 15 minutes, and you're done.
These are my viral Oreo cheesecake brownies. A decadent chocolate brownie layer topped with Oreos and then a perfect vanilla cheesecake. Add this to your sage because you're definitely going to want to make this. For your brownies, combine your melted butter, chocolate and white sugar until a smooth paste. Then add 2 eggs and 100 grams of plain flour. Your mixture will be really thick, but that's the perfect consistency for a fudgy brownie. You then want to top your brownies with a layer of Oreos and make sure you push them down so they stay in place. Then add your cheesecake, and for the full step-to-step details, don't forget to check my website, but the ingredients will be in the description below. And then swirl the remaining chocolate batter onto the cheesecake and bake for approximately 30 minutes for 170 degrees. Enjoy.
Juice brownie I think I've ever made. We're gonna start by browning 1 cup of butter, and then once this gets all nice and foamy, we're going to add in dry milk powder. And this multiplies the little toasty bits in the brown butter to make it even more flavorful. And then once that's browned, we're gonna add in our cocoa powder, and the hot butter will activate the cocoa and enhance that chocolate flavor. And then we're gonna mix in some chopped dark chocolate and a little bit of oil. While that chocolate cools, we're gonna whip together our eggs with brown sugar. And the goal here is to dissolve the sugar completely, which is what will give us that paper thin crust on top of our brownies. And it takes a little bit of work, but it will be worth it, I promise. Okay, you can test with your fingers to see if you can still feel, yeah, I can still feel some of it. Whew. Okay, let's see. I think we're good. Now to add to that paper thin crust on top, I'm also including powdered sugar, which will dissolve almost instantly. So the hard part of mixing is over. This smells incredible. And this makes the most gorgeous brownie batter. Now these bake at 350 for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna give them an hour to chill before cutting. My heart is like racing, I'm really excited. I forgot to hit record, but
you have to make this cake. I'm calling it an everyday butter cake because you probably already have all the ingredients for it. It's simple, very vanilla, comes together really quickly and easily, and it's the kind of thing you make when you're in the mood for a simple treat or you want something with your coffee or tea. It's got a crispy sugar topping and it's so fluffy.
I'm going to take you through step by step exactly how to make this exact cake. It is the most popular cake design in the bakery, and today I'm going to show you how to do it. So you want to start with an offset spatula. This is probably the one cake decorating tool I can't live without, so if you don't have one, make sure to get one. As you can see, I'm starting out with my cakes already stacked and crumb coated, so if you would like to see that process, I'm more than happy to share that in the next video. Moving on to the next essential tool is my cake scraper, and I'm going to use this to smooth out all of the sides and the top of the cake. This is the part of the process that I would say takes the most amount of time. As you can see here, I've just scraped a little bit too much on that side, so I'm just going to add a little bit more red buttercream and go over it again. Here's a close-up of smoothing out the sides of the cake. One of my best tips is to make sure that the cake scraper is warm, so I'll run it under hot water and then wipe it dry before going again. And then you see that little air bubble there. I'm just going to add a little bit more buttercream, go over it again, and then I scraped a little bit too fast, but I'm about to get it on the third go. There we go, nice and smooth and glossy. Then just a scrape on the top of the cake and I've wiped it clean. Now I'm going to get a wet cloth and just wipe down the sides of the cake board there. You don't have to go all the way up to the cake because you're actually going to pipe on the bottom there and you can hide it anyway, so there's no point making sure that it's perfect. Just a little rough go around the outside to make sure that there's no excess buttercream. Now it's time to pipe those retro vintage sides. Here I have a 4B star tip. Here's a closer look at that tip. You're going to place it in the bottom of a piping bag with the hole cut out of the bottom. And here's a nifty little trick I learned in Paris. Put the left hand inside the piping bag and then use the right to twist it shut. And you have a nice little block at the end of your piping bag. And then you're just going to use your right hand to place the top of the piping bag over your hand, so it's kind of like a cup. I know that was a lot of instructions. It's a lot easier when you do it, but it's definitely the easiest way to fill a piping bag when you are on your own. Always push out a little bit of that buttercream before you start piping to make sure there's no air bubbles, and then we start working on the piping. A little flick and release system here, lifting up and then flicking down. I'm going to do all the bottom and then all the top. You could absolutely leave it here. I always like the simple look, but it's very popular for people to add on extra piping, so I'm going to show you how I do this with the ruffle tip. I'm just going in a bit of a semicircle motion, lowering and lifting, and then I'm going to go in back with that same tip, the open star tip, and do my little, I don't know what we're calling them, smudges. Now it's time for some cherries. You could choose to pipe a little nest for these to go in, but I like to just stick them on top. You have to do it when the buttercream is still warm and not chilled in the fridge, otherwise they won't stick. Now it's time for even more piping because this is a popular request. We've got the tiny little ruffle tip and I'm going to go all the way along the bottom there, and that's a really great way to make it look more vintage if that's the desired look you're going for. And here we have the finished product.